What up, y'all? Dean Thomas here. Welcome to Fight Court. I am just coming back from New York City. I was at UFC 322, Madison Square Garden. I was out there with Shawn Brady. As we know, that didn't go according to our plan. I'll get into that in a moment. But first, let me let you know I'm going to hold the show down solo today. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. My co-host Ryan Quinn is off on assignment, but don't worry, he'll be back next week. So if you miss him, he'll be back next week. So, New York City, Madison Square Garden, UFC 322. It's normally my favorite fight week of the entire year. I love New York at this time of year. And I was there for the very first one when Tyron Woodley fought Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. How can we ever forget that event? Conor McGregor became the first double champ when he defeated Eddie Alvarez for the lightweight title. New York is always great this time of year, and I've been going every year ever since. And during the week, I've done stand-up comedy. I've been to jazz clubs, and I've had just a great time. I've ate at all the great New York restaurants. And New York is one of those places where this time of year is just fantastic. But this is the first fight week where I can admit wasn't enjoyable. In fact, this might have been my worst fight week of the entire year, but that's just me speaking selfishly. Because as I stated earlier, I was with Shawn Brady and he dared to do something great. He took on a fight against an undefeated fighter who not many people wanted to fight. And he did so because he wanted to stay relevant. He did so because he wanted to remind people how good he was. He did so that he could become undeniable for a shot at the title. And he lost. There's no way around that. I did a show last week with Anthony Smith on his podcast. Make sure y'all check that out. It's called On Paper. And he said Shawn Brady had the most to lose on his card, and he was fighting a guy with the most to gain. And that's always an interesting dynamic. And that's sometimes the way it is. But this game is so brutal, and sometimes you have to take them chances to be great. You can't hide behind your number, and you can't finesse your way into being the greatest fighter in the world. There's only one place to prove it. That's inside the octagon. And Shawn attempted to do that, and he fell short. And that's okay. We're still proud of him. I'm proud of him for showing up and doing that. Now, even though he lost, in hindsight, it was still worth the shot. I would still tell people that if you were fully capable and if you fully believe in yourself, prove it. Oftentimes, fighters, they claim to be the best in the world, but they avoid fighting certain fighters because of the risk. But if you are the best in the world, you should be able to beat everybody. And if nothing else, Shawn taught us a lesson. He's a dog and he's willing to take chances. And this is a game of inches. And any given night, you can lose a fight. Now, I still believe Shawn's a better fighter. I believe he's a better fighter than Morales, and he's certainly a better fighter than what he showed on Saturday night. But because of that reason doesn't mean that he was going to beat Morales that night. Morales beat him. He was the better fighter on Saturday night. And as for Morales, he is a great fighter. He's charismatic, and he has an entire continent supporting him. I think he's great for the sport. And if Shawn was going to lose, I'm glad it was to a dog like Morales. And I think that he's going to represent and he's going to have a great career. But as for my guy, Shawn Brady, I don't like to say they'll bounce back because I don't think they went anywhere. Just had a bad night. But he's a great fighter. And I've been around this sport long enough to know that losses, you can't determine a career from a loss. Careers are determined by their entire catalog of what they do. And Shawn's will have a great career, and he'll have a career that most fighters can only dream of. Shawn is the most dedicated and disciplined fighter I know. And even though he lost Saturday night, the work that he put in is still in the bank, and he's got plenty of time to cash out. A lot of great stuff happened Saturday night. The rest of the card, Islam Makhachev, he looked amazing at welterweight. He really is on a different level. Valentina Shevchenko showed that she's also on a different level. Both of them have a level of professionalism, maturity, and consistency that only should be admired. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the promising Carlos Prates and Ethan Ewing. They both looked great. Ethan came in on 2 days' notice and upset his Malcolm Wellmaker. They showed tremendous amount of skill and just a presence that I think that they're going to be around for a while. And it was honored to be It was an honor for me to be in attendance for their performances. Well, I think that's about enough for me this week. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe. Ryan Quinn will be back next week. Either way, we gonna be moving, baby. And on that note, this court is adjourned.